Picture this. You're standing in a freezing cave 40,000 years ago, and the sun is about to go down. You have no fire, no light, no warmth. And somewhere in the darkness outside, something is watching you. Now ask yourself this question. Without fire, would humans have survived at all? This isn't just a hypothetical thought experiment. This is one of the most important what-if questions in all of human history. Because fire didn't just keep us warm. It built our brains, shaped our bodies, and turned a weak, slow, thin-skinned primate into the most dominant species on the planet. So what would actually happen if that one discovery never happened? Would we still be walking upright today? Would we even have big brains at all? And here's the most unsettling question of all. Without fire, would there be any us here to ask these questions in the first place? To understand what we lose, we first need to understand what fire actually gave us. And the answer isn't just warmth and light. It's something far stranger. Around 1.8 million years ago, our ancestors' brains began to grow at an explosive rate. Homo habilis had a brain about the size of a chimpanzee's, but Homo erectus, arriving not long after, had a brain nearly double that size. Something triggered this leap, and primatologist Richard Wrangham, in his research on human evolution, proposed a theory that changed how scientists think about our species entirely. He argued that cooking food with fire was the true engine behind our massive brain growth.
Here's why that matters so much. Raw food takes enormous energy to digest. Chimpanzees, our closest living relatives, spend nearly half of their entire day just chewing raw plants and fruit. Their digestive systems work overtime to extract nutrients from tough, unprocessed food. But cooking breaks down those same foods before they even enter the body. Starches gelatinize, proteins unfold, nutrients become dramatically easier to absorb. But here's where things get strange. Once cooking became possible, the human body began making trades. Our gut shrank, our jaw shrank, our teeth shrank, and all that saved energy that would have gone toward digesting raw food was redirected somewhere else entirely, into building a bigger, hungrier, more complex brain. So now picture the world without fire. No cooking, no shortcut for digestion. Our ancestors would have been stuck exactly where every other primate on Earth still is today, burning most of their daily energy just trying to break down raw plants and meat. Which means the brain that lets you read this sentence right now might never have existed. Then scientists discovered something even more unexpected. Fire didn't just change our biology. It changed our sleep, our safety, and our social behavior. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer tribes, including the Hadza of Tanzania, found that firelight fundamentally reshaped the human day. Before fire, early hominins likely slept as soon as darkness fell, just like most other mammals. But fire pushed bedtime later, creating something entirely new: free time after dark.
And that free time, researchers argue, became the birthplace of something remarkable. Around the fire, humans didn't just eat, they talked. They told stories. They passed down knowledge, warned each other about danger, and built the deep social bonds that would eventually become language, culture, and cooperation. Anthropologist Polly Weissner, who studied firelight conversations among the Juhansi people, found that daytime talk was mostly practical and transactional. But nighttime firelit conversation shifted dramatically towards storytelling, myth, and social connection. Without fire, that shift may never have happened. No gathering place, no shared stories, no reason to stay awake together in the dark, just silence and sleep the moment the sun went down. That's when everything changes, because fire didn't just feed the body and the mind, it protected the body too. Ancient humans were physically fragile compared to the predators around them. No claws sharp enough to fight a cave lion, no natural armor against a saber-toothed cat. Fire changed that equation entirely. A blazing torch or a fire at the mouth of a cave became one of the only tools capable of keeping large predators away during the most dangerous hours of the day, the night. Without fire, early humans would have remained prey, vulnerable every single night for their entire lives, with no way to reliably fight back against the darkness. And a species living in constant nightly fear doesn't expand its territory. It doesn't take risks. It doesn't spread across continents. It hides.
Which raises the real mystery at the heart of this question. Without fire, would humans have ever left Africa at all? Migration out of Africa required surviving freezing climates, especially as early humans pushed into Ice Age Europe and Asia. Archaeological evidence from sites like Gesher Benot Yaakov in Israel shows controlled fire use dating back nearly 800,000 years, coinciding almost exactly with the timeline of early human migration into colder regions. Without fire's warmth, those freezing environments would have been nearly impossible to survive. No fire, quite possibly, means no spread across the globe. Humanity might have remained trapped in warm African climates permanently, unable to endure the cold that fire alone made survivable. But the real mystery is what this means for who we would be today, right now, in this exact moment. Without fire, there's likely no metalworking, because you can't smelt metal without extreme heat. No bronze, no iron, no steel, which means no swords, no plows, no engines, no machinery. There's likely no pottery, since clay needs to be fired to harden permanently. There's likely no large, complex societies, because cooked food surplus is part of what allowed early humans to settle down, farm, and build the first cities, instead of spending every waking hour searching for enough raw food to survive. In other words, without fire, there's a real possibility that human civilization, as an idea, simply never gets off the ground.
This is where the story becomes personal, because it forces you to confront something uncomfortable. Every single achievement of human civilization, every book, every building, every idea you've ever had might trace back to one single moment, an early hominin, alone in the dark, discovering that a spark could be controlled. We like to imagine intelligence as the thing that made us human, but maybe that's backwards. Maybe fire came first, and intelligence was simply what fire allowed to grow. And that leaves us with a strange, humbling thought to carry with you. The next time you turn on a light, cook a meal, or simply feel safe enough to fall asleep at night, remember this: none of that was inevitable. Somewhere in humanity's deep, forgotten past, a single flame stood between the species we became and the species we might have stayed forever. We didn't just discover fire. Fire discovered what we could become.